Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John, but y'all already knew that. Good morning. It's Tenderloin Tuesday. Are we having tenderloin tonight? I have no idea. I haven't talked to Miss Nation about it. How's everybody doing? Blackbird, how are you doing? Moderators, Bama Jen, Dynamite, Kelly, Rambo, if y'all are in here, you rock. Thank you very much. Nanette, how are you doing? T. Lineman, what's up? James Mills, Southern Possum, Jeff Roberts, Daniel S., Toolmaker, Pilgrim, Forrest. Y'all better watch Forrest. Country Heat, I think, was first in the house, actually. Mike McDonald with the Cobra logo. Handy Prepper, how are you doing? Yes, live. Handy Prepper, I'm rolling the dice. I'm going to try and go live all week long, and we'll see how YouTube responds. Misty, how are you doing? But, of course, Thursday I'll be riding with Backwoods, and there'll be a parental advisory and all that. Chief Prepper, how are you doing? Windflower, Thistle Moon Farms, Chad, how are you doing? Minnesota Prepping, Big T, Rucker, Richard T, Hunt Outdoors. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate somewhere in West Texas who dropped a super chat late yesterday, right as we ended the stream. So thank you, ma'am, for funding the coffee, the mean bean this morning. I appreciate that. And please, we are live, folks. Keep your arms, legs, and unmentionables forced inside the ride at all times. Pot B, how are you doing? Gets on my nerves when people say POTB. I've told Backwoods about this as Pot B. That's how I've always known it. Belfast, Hoods, how are you doing? So, Nancy West, T-Man won a decisive victory yesterday, 9-0. It was unanimous, right? Robert, how are you doing? And I got to be honest with you, I was a little shocked. I thought there would be more controversy. The Supreme Court usually is not fair. You know what I mean? Usually there's a partisan line there. It's not supposed to be, but there is. Ark Nanny, Lord Eagle, how are you doing? And so I was totally shocked. And a few hours later, Trump gave a speech. Right after this speech, right after he gave his deal on TV. No, it's not POTB, Backwoods. Good morning, brother. As a matter of fact, right after he gave his speech, Backwoods texted me and he said something is afoot. I bust out laughing when I saw that. He said something was off about the speech. So we each have our theory on what happened there, and we'll probably get into it Thursday. But immediately after his speech and everything, because it seemed like a huge win, I went over to Nation Plus, the advanced, the elite levels. I dropped a poll. We're going to go over the poll real quick, and then we're going to talk about burn mode. So the poll over there, 31% of the folks at Nation Plus were excited about the win. Again, I was shocked, excited as well. 39%, and this is kind of where my head was at with it, worried about a false event taking place now that he's cleared on all 50 ballots. And 30% of the folks over there were expecting Biden to somehow postpone the election due to the war. And again, I hate to be that person. I hate to be the negative Nancy in the room. Maybe I should have been celebrating. And I'm like, yeah, T-Man's on all 50 ballots. But immediately, because I don't trust these swamp creatures, immediately, my thoughts went to, now what are they going to try to do? They're not going to let sleeping dogs lie, so to speak. They're already concocting a plan. I just saw Rebecca in chat. I wasn't able to catch the comment completely, man, but she's saying Democrats in Congress are already conjuring up the next scheme. They can't leave well enough alone. This is politics, I guess, but, what a concept it would be if we just let the people decide who the president was, right? And we used, as the Supreme Court says, we use the system that's already in place. So we're going to talk about burn mode. Thank you if you have subscribed to the channel already. And if not, welcome. And if you have the guts, hit subscribe. You have to have guts to do it over here because we're not exactly the most popular community on YouTube when it comes to YouTube looking at us and stuff. We are the stepchild. the black sheep of the family, if you will, in the prepping community. So let's talk about burn mode. All right. This came, again, I posted that poll yesterday on Nation Plus, and a member over there, We Are the Resistance. Sometimes they're in the live chat, sometimes they're in the replay crowd. They said the Democrats, I think they said Democrats, actually, is the way they worded it, will stop at nothing to keep power. And this is my thought exactly. Trump wins. It's not like they're just going to start playing clean politics. All of a sudden, they went after the man, beginning when he ran against Hillary. Hillwalker, how are you? And they just continuously go after this man. They've tried to go after his finances and bankrupt him, get him tied up in court case after court case after court case. The man's not allowed to do business in New York City for several years now. They tried to remove him from the ballot. They tried to lock him up. They tried to tie him to J6 somehow. They tried to tie him to any kind of collusion that was taking place with Russia. They've tried so many different schemes. And so immediately I thought, what's the next scheme? You know something's coming, right? And I think what they're saying, and I agree with this, the swamp will go into burn mode at this point. They will burn it to the ground before they get this man back in office. Our friend Mr. Jones has an interesting theory. He says that Trump at this point is too big to steal from. They can't steal it from him in November because he's too big of a story. Too many people are watching. I don't know. I think they will still try, but I do worry that they're going to go into burn mode and that this might lead to a false event or something major. You know what I mean? You can just smell the chaos in the air. It's like 3-day-old tuna sandwiches. You can smell them. It just, as Backwoods was saying when he texted, something's afoot. Robin Prater, good morning. How are you? So I don't know, and we'll get into this Thursday as long as that's cool with Backwoods. But Trump, I went back, I watched the speech, and like I was telling him, I think he's just made a pivot over. He looked presidential when he was given his response to the Supreme Court decision and collected. Like he still is given the same message that he's been given at rallies, but he looked more presidential. And I think this was on purpose. I think he realizes now that he's on all 50 ballots, confirmed, Nikki Haley's no longer a threat. And it's about him and Joe Biden or whoever they parachute in. And I think the smart people around him have said, hey, Don, come here, son. You need to be presidential because the potato can't. The potato can't get up there and give a speech like this and look presidential. And a lot of people, I think, have buyer's remorse. There are people that voted for Joe Biden. I know it's hard to believe. I don't know where they would have to be in their lives to do this, but people voted for that man. And their finances have been destroyed in many cases. And again, they got buyer's remorse. They don't necessarily maybe like Trump, but if they see a presidential side to Donald Trump, they may actually prefer it over Joe Biden and where we're at right now. So, No J and DOJ, good morning again. How are you doing? Already in a civil war? I agree. We're staging for one, for sure. So, he just looks, I don't know. And then again, that was kind of my theory, backwoods theory, and I'm paraphrasing here. Trump may be preparing to go headhunting politically. He may realize, okay, the Supreme Court is with me. The people are with me. A lot of the agencies that I'm not going to defund when I get in there, they're with me. He may be getting ready to go after the swamp in a really, really big way and go politically headhunting. Man, I hope that's the case. But the swamp is planning something in return. And it goes beyond. I guess the message on this burn mode deal is it's going to go beyond just your average, ordinary presidential election in November. We're not going to see, social discourse back and forth up until November and everybody's getting along. Then we have an election. And then after the election, we have, a peaceful transfer of power, and then everybody's holding hands again, and we're all Americans. We're not going to see it play out this way. We're going to see the chaos ramp up and ramp up and ramp up, and then we're going to get to November. That's going to be the climax if there's an election, right? That's going to be the climax, and then the fallout is going to be substantial. Josh B, thank you. Did you hear about the FBI's warning in Florida and the Middle East? No, I did not, but I haven't heard that. Thank you for letting me know. But I will say this: he's got to know at this point, all right, because if he's coming after the swamp, he's bound to know they're well connected. These people ain't playing. So he better be careful where he goes, and he better have lots and lots of security with him. And I think he's smart enough to know this. I do worry about when the Trump plane is flying around and stuff, to be honest with you. Um, but yeah, I didn't know that specifically about Florida. I don't know. Just feels like a maverick who's been keeping receipts. Can you imagine how pissed off he was um, the last election? Because whether you believe people had their hands in the ballot boxes or not, right? He believes it. He believes it 1,000%. Can you understand where his mind was at that point, and he was going to depend on Pence to help him out because something shady was going on? Every time I say shady, I think of Jim Shady in chat, and I feel so bad, right? Uh, but he thought something was shady was going on, and ever since then, they've came after this man. They've came after his family. They've made fun of his kids in the media. They made fun of his wife. They've come after him financially. He's been keeping receipts. And God help if this man gets back into office, because he's going to have a lot of power at that point. He's going to be able to mass support, I think, not peacefully. We're going to need our military probably to do this, but I think at that point he's willing to do it. I think he's going to go politically headhunting the swamp creatures at this point. I think he's going to start defunding 3-letter agencies and all this stuff. And he's been keeping receipts, but he's going against the standing world order, and that's the problem. I think the standing world order is responsible for a lot of things that we've been lied to about, and I'm looking specifically at September 11th right now. I do think the standing world order, my opinion, may have been responsible for that event and many other events. You could go to the C-19 as well. Well, if so, that's the best news I've heard all day. Big Mike not running for prez. Still got Gavin Newsom. Still got Gavin Newsom that could parachute in. I mean, I hear weird things with that. Oprah's not. Come on, man. At least I would hope not. So I want to go over a couple of comments that I got yesterday that I responded to. And if y'all are interested in responding to these comments, please be civil if you do so. Okay. They're new faces here, but they're on yesterday's video. So we were talking about doom here in the United States and the reasons why I think it's falling. And somebody left a comment and just said BS. So I said, thanks for the well thought out reply. Can you go into a little more detail? Which part do you think was BS? Shady. Yeah, we all going to have to be exactly right. Thank you, brother. We're all going to have to be a little shady soon. And for those that don't know, you may be new. Shady has a channel here on YouTube, and he's pretty freaking awesome. So I asked, specifically, and to their credit, they had the guts to answer, and they said there is no invasion. America is not doomed to fall. So I really didn't know how to reply to this, because once you're talking to somebody that is denying the invasion. I mean, the White House admits that. I dispute the numbers heavily that the White House is throwing out there, but the White House admits this is a problem. I mean, just last week or a few days ago, Trump and Biden both went to the border. Why did they go to the border if there's no invasion? Why do they think it's important enough politically to go down there? Are the steaks just good? They wanted a good baked potato. You know what I'm saying? Like they went down there because they know it's an issue, and so I don't know how to counter a statement like that. When somebody says there is no invasion, I just don't understand the logic. I mean, I respect the fact that you have an opinion. Everybody's entitled to one, but there's no response. There's nothing I can say at that point that's going to change your mind. You know, if you don't know there's an invasion here in the United States by now, you just don't know it. Another comment, which was, I thought this was fairly interesting. They said this is not SHTF because we were talking about SHTF yesterday. And again, going down the list and stuff like this. And they said, you know, they went into detail. They said, I can still order stuff on Amazon and it's getting delivered. Emergency services are still up. It's not SHTF. And then they go on to say, I think they ripped this off the Princess Bride movie, actually. I do not think you know what that word means or something like that, SHTF. Overrated movie, by the way. It's a good movie, but slightly overrated. So I got so many questions here. And if that person's out there, again, I'm not trolling you. Feel free to answer, drop a comment or whatever. And if you're in chat this morning, folks, feel free to answer these questions. Starting with, you know, if we're not in SHTF, why are you checking out prepping community videos on YouTube? I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying there. I can still order stuff on Amazon, right? And Porch Pirates aside, eventually it gets delivered. Um, Emergency services are still up in most places. Some of them have been defunded. Some of them are shorthanded to the point where they just don't show up anymore, but whatever. Why are you in the prepping community to begin with? You know, were you checking out maybe toy videos or cat videos and this one just randomly popped up yesterday? I doubt it because most people who are looking for this channel can't even find it. Mike McDonald was just saying earlier, I think it was Mike. Um, I get where you're coming from, but I think what you were trying to describe, brother, is Mad Max. And I left that in the comment. To me, when you know, the mail's no longer running, the police are no longer coming, grocery stores are no longer open, and you see a societal collapse, to me, that's Mad Max. That goes beyond SHTF because I think SHTF comes in so many forms, you know, as we were talking about yesterday. Now, this person left a comment and they said, I've been homeless before. They said, you know, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't have it in front of me, but they said it wasn't an SHTF. I was just down on my luck. Well, I'm glad you view it that way. But a single parent with 3 kids who just lost their job and their home and have no car to live in, they may view it differently. You know, we had a moderator selling prepper. He works all the time now, but he got injured last year. He had to miss almost an entire year of work. And I can remember multiple times him saying, "Thank God I've been prepping," because he had to live off of his preps. He had virtually no income coming in, and he wouldn't have survived. It was a total SHTF. People lose jobs. People go through medical things, you know, and maybe that wipes their savings out. Total SHTF. You know, so it does mean different things to different people. And although I respect what you're saying, you know, John's coming on here and it's an SHTF and it's really not, you're also making a blanket statement. You're saying unless we see a collapse of society, people aren't dealing with stuff hitting the fan. And people, I assure you, right now are dealing with stuff that are hitting the fan, I think. Um, he goes on to say, and this was a little interesting to me at the end of his comment, you just feel like saying the sky's falling. I guess because, you know, I have a channel on YouTube and we're talking about bad things. Um, First of all, I never said the sky was falling. I said the country was falling. The sky's just fine, other than the trails. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? But the sky will be there when the next empire rises from the ashes. Something comes next. I don't pretend to know what it is, but something comes next and the sky will still be there. Um, Okay, thank you. Black Berkey filters, the good ones, are back in stock, but more money. Thank you, Alfred, for letting me know. Very much. I've been buying the off-brand ones. Not gonna lie to you. There's an off-brand company on Amazon that sells them. So first of all, I never said the sky was falling. Okay, you can find positive stuff in anything, but this is also not a channel where we're going to hold hands and pretend like everything's just fine, because everything is just not fine. Everything's not okay. And adults know this. People that aren't living in their parents' basement know this. If you're paying bills whatsoever, you know everything is not okay right now. Yeah, you can still order on Amazon, but the price is doubled on many things. Yeah, you can still go to the grocery store, but the price is doubled. And for people that were barely making it before, this is an SHTF, bro. So I don't even understand that comment. I don't know. You just feel like you feel like saying the sky's falling. Like, I gain nothing from getting on here and say, the sky's falling. If I put out a video and I titled it, "Everything's going to be okay, here's why," it would pack out. The numbers would be through the roof. And I know this, but it would be a dishonest video and I would be lying to people, because a lot of people right now want things to be okay. They want creators to get on here and say everything's going to be just fine. Everything is going to be just fine. Here's an affiliate link. And I'm not taking shots at anybody when I say here's an affiliate link, bro. I'm saying this because I don't have one to offer you. I'm not getting on here and saying the sky's falling, but here's what you can do about it. Click this link and go buy whatever. Maybe you think that I'm making billions of dollars or something here on YouTube. Anybody that YouTube's can tell you otherwise. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm at stately Von Manor over here, and I'm pulling in 7 figures a year or something on YouTube by getting on here and trying to warn people. So I'm actually, before we move on, I'll break it down for you. I'm actually probably doing damage to this channel, and dropping the numbers and things on this channel by telling the truth, my truth. Now, you may not agree with that, and again, that's your right, but I don't think the country's okay. And I don't think, based on the reasons I gave yesterday, the opioid crisis that's going on, the economy, for example, the endless wars, I don't think the country goes much further from here before we see a total state of decay. And I don't understand this whole comment about it's not SHTF. Like, if you've been alive for 20 or 30 years, it don't even look like the same country anymore. And we have not made progress. If somebody thinks we have made progress, please let me know why you think that. But how about it, chat, before we move on? Yeah, I see that, Big T. What's your definition of SHTF versus Mad Max? Don't take my word for it, Mr. Billionaire Creator over here. Don't do that. Billionaires, by the way, don't wear jackets like this. I'm just saying. Uh, the folks in chat are real folks. These people are not plants. I didn't pay these people to come over here and agree that we're in SHTF or disagree or whatever. Take their word for it. Folks in chat, if you want to, or the replay crowd, what is your definition of SHTF versus Mad Max? Maybe this person is just new to prepping and they don't get it. I don't know. But anyway, 2 international things that I am looking for. Thank you, Windid. My wife hates this jacket. She despises this jacket. I can't remember where it came from. It came from one of like a TJ Maxx or Ross or something. But I loved it. She's like, yeah, that's a nice jacket. And she hated it an hour later. And the more she said she hated it, the more I wear it. Just saying. 2 international things that I'm looking for, or looking at and paying attention to, rather. Number 1, the U.S. and South Korea, they are holding joint drills. These are annual drills that would lead you to believe that it's no big deal. This time around, they're calling them the Freedom Shield exercises. Tensions are already high. This is taking place in the Korean Peninsula. The reason I'm paying attention to it this time around is they are specifically wargaming a fight with North Korea, and the U.S. has included nuke-capable assets to that area. North Korea, they're pretty pissed off about it. North Korea has hypersonic technology. They claim they have, they claim, now this is coming from North Korea again, so take it with 10 grains of salt. They claim that they have underwater hypersonic technology that can sink the bigger ships and things. So I don't know, this whole thing could spiral out of control, or it could just be a lot of saber rattling. Do you think if Prepper Nation was making millions, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I would get a bunch of facelifts, be up here looking like Madonna, like an alien or something. I- and number two, folks, the second thing that I'm looking for, and this is NATO at a glance. If you don't know that much about NATO and you hear the back and forth, here's NATO. All right. So the president of France, week or so ago, week and a half ago, made the comment, you know, if Z-Man keeps getting his tail kicked, we need to send in NATO troops. We need to send in Western troops. He's talking about troops from France. He's talking about troops from the United States, Australia, Canada, Germany. You get it. Great Britain. And all the other NATO countries are like, wait, no, son, we ain't got a dog in this fight. We do not want to be involved in this whatsoever, not directly. Matter of fact, Germany was the biggest opponent to this idea. Germany backed up and they said, we want no direct conflict with Russia. We are simply supplying Z-Man with whatever it is he's begging for this week, and that's it. We got no beef with Russia whatsoever. Well, a couple of days later, Germany's high-ranking military officials, I believe it was the Air Force, their version of the Air Force, they had a conversation. They had a private conversation where they were talking specifics about, you know, we may take the bridge to Crimea out, and we're going to use Taurus missiles, which are long-range German missiles. And they were talking back and forth exactly how many would we need, where would we need to hit this bridge, which is a Russian bridge, by the way. And this entire conversation got intercepted by Russia, and Russia leaked the entire thing online. Russia, you know, Russia's hands aren't clean either, but they're just like, look, here's the entire conversation. We didn't cut anything out. We didn't add anything in. This is Germany 100%. So what is happening, and this is what NATO does. They come on TV in the Western world, and they will show you crying babies, and they'll say, can't believe Putin's doing this right now. We've got to support Z-Man. Z-Man needs this. It's kind of like the old Chaz and Chop, where they put, we need cigarettes, we need lighters, we need soap, we need somebody to, we say in this area, I'll tell my wife, can you bring me a Churchill and a lighter? And she'll say, do you need me to slap you in the lungs to get them started too? You know what I'm saying? Z-Man needs everything. So we need to just blindly send money over to support them because they're taking the high road. They're trying to save the earth. We're trying to save the earth from total destruction. And then they go and they have backdoor conversations where they're actually the aggressors. And Germany got caught red-handed. Red-handed. They're sitting here literally talking about taking a major bridge of Russia's that connects it to Crimea completely out. How many missiles it's going to take? Where do we need to hit it? They're talking timetables and things like this. Jeffrey, thank you very much for the super chat this morning. Thank you very much, brother. So this is what NATO does. They talk out of both sides of their mouth. They tell us one thing. They take our money through thievery. They fund wars that they pretend to be the good guys in, and they're actually maybe not the good guys. You know what I'm saying? And they got caught. How did Germany respond to this? How did NATO respond to this? Did they deny it? No. Neither one of them denied it. NATO is pissed because Germany got compromised and they said, hey, you need to up the security on your conversations moving forward. Germany took this, instead of admitting, yeah, we were talking about taking their bridge out, they spun it and they said, look, Russia is a huge cyber attack threat. They have the technology to do this. They can take the grid down. This is why we need to support the war. It's just spin, spin, constant spin. I don't care if they have this war one way or the other. I just don't want to fund it. I'm going to be honest with you. I never did, and I don't want American servicemen and women getting sent over there and thrown into a wood chipper for no reason. Alfred, thank you very much. The wild fish all polluted. Ever think of digging yourself a pond and stocking your own fish? Yes. So at the bug out, interesting story. At the bug out, we had a little bitty pond. We tried to stock it one time, and the bears ate the fish. I'm not kidding. That's a true story. Black bears were getting in there, and it just didn't work out. I mean, we go down there to fish one day. It was almost catch and release over and over. Not the Los Angeles catch and release, but I'm talking about it was almost like a hatchery down there. And then you go down there a week later, and there's bear tracks, and there's no fish. Like, you can't pull a fish out of there now. Grow food. You can grow food here, but you have to put it inside fences and stuff and keep the deer out, because the deer, I don't know, somewhere along the way they're related to Z-Man, and they grifting too. I pull up, I get hit by stray cats at the front door who are grifting. The deers are grifting out back. Z-Man's grifting on TV. My dogs are lazy. It's a mess. But, you know, I'm a billionaire YouTube creator. I've got money to burn, son. Hand over fist. And I've got money to burn because I come on here and try and explain to people what SHTF is, apparently. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. And please do leave comments, because tomorrow's topic, we're just going to be answering comments and questions and things like that. So feel free to leave them. I appreciate y'all being here. Until tomorrow morning when we are live again, y'all take care and God bless.